This project is really the result of a few what we call paradigm shifts. The first paradigm shift was moving away from intervention to prevention. So if we have a problem, we want to help the people who are hurt by the problem. And that's usually where things start for obvious reasons. The next shift is to say, let's prevent the problem. But usually when we think of prevention, we think of doing something with or to the people who are causing the problem. And that doesn't do enough. Most of hazing prevention has been focused on the people who haze. Most, social justice work has been focusing on addressing the people who commit the injustices. But the next paradigm shift, which is why we're here, is to look at the bystanders. Who are all the people who witness the problem and don't do anything? They're the ones who can really bring about the changes. So this project is to really look at the bystanders to not only hazing, but to different forms of social injustice and different forms of unhealthy behavior like alcohol abuse, eating disorders, because the young people here actually care about each other in very beautiful ways, and they actually have a good heart, and they want to do the right thing, but they don't have the tools. So those of us who are committed to hazing prevention and addressing other forms of injustice in higher education, many of us now feel that we can't do that unless we address the bystanders. We address the people who perceive a problem but don't do something. So that's, in a nutshell, what this is about. Well, first of all, rules don't work unless they're enforced, unless there's prompt and immediate punishment that is perceived as fair. So if people haze and they don't get busted, then they're going to keep hazing. So that's one reason why the rule-based approaches don't work. I think the reason we haven't solved the problem of hazing is because there's too much fear. People are afraid of saying what they really feel, which is that they don't like this. They don't like this being done. There's also people who are, let's say, disturbed. There's people who get a kick out of it. There's people who feel powerful when they haze. The good news is that there's very few of those people. The bad news is that no one else is standing up to them, so they get to set the tone for everyone else. So, and that's where the fear comes in, because the people who don't like it are afraid to stand up because partly they think they're alone. So if we really look at ourselves, a lot of our dysfunctional behavior is motivated by fear, and hazing prevention, dealing with the issue, is one good example. Right. Well, hazing is only one example, but basically, most people are uncomfortable when bad things happen. Maybe there's some things that I don't notice, like maybe as a man I don't notice a lot of sexism, or maybe as a white person I don't notice a lot of racism. Maybe certain people in the Greek system don't define certain behaviors as hazing. But even when we don't notice a lot of what's a problem, we notice some of what's a problem and we still don't do anything, even though we feel uncomfortable. So the place to start the discussion is, why aren't I doing anything about the things I already feel uncomfortable about? Because most people are good and they feel uncomfortable when we think they should. They have values, they have a heart, they care, they have compassion, they love other people, they want other people to be treated well. So we're not bad, evil people who need rules and get busted. We're wonderful, beautiful human beings who don't express it when we should and when we could. And one of the reasons we don't express it is we don't know how. And we're afraid to. We're afraid of all these bad things happening if we do, when instead we could actually create environments where people would have great things happen when they do the right thing, where they have all these people saying, that's so far out, I'm so glad you did that, I felt that way too. So we can overcome that fear. We can give people the tools. We can let them know that a lot of the reasons they're not doing the right thing that they already want to do is based on misunderstandings of the situation. And we spend a lot of time talking about what those misunderstandings are, thinking that it's not a problem because I don't see anyone else do something, when maybe they think it's a problem and they don't see anyone else do something either, so we're all standing there waiting. Maybe fear that I'll be retaliated against in some way, either physically or emotionally, which is very real in some situations, which means I have to have a way of responding in which I won't get retaliated against, which is maybe more low-key, more indirect, more conversational, less confrontational. Thinking other people aren't upset because they don't show their upsetness. But I know my upsetness. I don't see your upsetness. So I'm making an incorrect assumption that you have a problem, you're not upset, so I don't want to say anything.